preaching the gospel. There are two actually there are three categories of churches that make up the Assemblies of God in the U.S. The first of those is what is called a General Council affiliated church. You'll hear a number of other terms that means identically the same thing. It's General Council affiliated. You'll hear a self-governing body. You'll hear it referred to as an autonomous church. The Assemblies of God, all those statements mean the same. The Assemblies of God has, from its beginning, believed in a congregational form of government, and that is that they should have the opportunity of self-government, and they should have the opportunity to design their ministry that they feel will best help them reach the people of their community, and to do so without interference from a denominational office. And by vote of the people, then that would be the highest voice within that church. There are a second category is called district affiliated, and that's what this church has been now for a number of years. The third category, well, in district affiliated, the deeds to the property are held in the corporate name of the district. But we do that for a couple of reasons. It's held there as a trustee for that local church. We do it also to help the church build assets and build values that some have struggled with when they were having fewer people and less money. It is our intention that every church in North Carolina would advance as you are doing here today to General Council affiliation. It was never our intention to own church properties, but only to help them in their earlier years of beginning to get going and then turn it to them. The third category is called a cooperative fellowship. And I've said a cooperative church, that is to joining the Assemblies of God like dating is to marriage. You know, we have an interest, we're just not quite sure how strong that interest is. So there are some churches today that are cooperative fellowship. There are strong churches in this state that began like that, but now they are on their own. Okay. So in recognition of this church as a General Council church, there are a couple of things. One, you have to meet the membership requirement established by the national office, and this church more than meets that requirement. Secondly, you have to have a number of people, members of that church, that meets the requirements of the bylaws of that church to fill the leadership positions of that church. Talking to Pastor Krenzel, I am absolutely confident that this church well meets that requirement. Amen. A third is that the finances of the church are adequate for a church to operate without needing anybody to underwrite or needing financial assistance from the outside. And you have strongly demonstrated that fact. Within the Assemblies of God, and this is a question that is often asked by churches that are joining with this fellowship. And last year, in 2013, there were 32 new Assemblies of God churches just in North Carolina. 32 new churches like yours that have joined the Assemblies of God. There are no financial requirements to that process. Ministers in the Assemblies of God tithe to the district office, and that underwrites the expenses of maintaining the administrative services. So there are no financial requirements from the district level, and there's no financial requirements from the general council level. You are encouraged at all levels to support world evangelization. What is the process of becoming a general council affiliated church? And the pastor and I would presume the board, the leadership of this church, they've already gone through the majority of it. One is to write a letter to my office stating that we meet the requirements for general council. Would the board of this district recommend us and approve us to be affiliated with the general council as a general council affiliated church? So that process has gone, and the board of this district, with more than just taking a vote, with thankfulness, and applaud you in moving to a general council affiliated status. There is a very lengthy process. It's one page that gives the essential information about the church and the officers, etc. And my understanding, Pastor, the Constitution bylaw that you currently have has been adopted and will continue as the document of this church. So it is not necessary for us to go through that procedure here today. All right? Yeah. On the last page of the application is where the names of current members are listed, and they become the charter members of the General Council affiliated church. Okay, so all the names of current members will be entered. What is the advantage of moving to that direction? I think up until now the deed to this property has been held in the name of the North Carolina district. The loan that guarantees the mortgage commitment for this church would be underwritten by the North Carolina District Council. One of the advantages of moving the direction you're going, after today, and then the deeds to this property will be transferred from the North Carolina District to the corporate name of this local church. The district has been the guarantor for the loans on this church. With the transfer of the deed goes the transfer of the guaranteeing. So I said, we're going to put it all in your name. No, it would be the corporate name of this church, which is incorporated. So as part of the process, the deeds will be transferred at our expense from the district to this local church. And then those that are designated to sign as officers of the church will sign that commitment. And we have a German lady who helps us with the church loan fund, named Ute. You have met Ute? Yeah, you have. He smiled. And that is to say, I'm better. Very efficient, but at times very demanding. So that will come subsequent to our work today. If you saw this, there are two checks that are to be written. One for $50 to the General Council of the Assemblies of God, Springfield, Missouri, and $50 to the district office. But in North Carolina, we have believed that what we're doing, like here today, should be a service, and it should be without charge. So no checks need to be written, and the district will pay the $50 fee to the General Council. And then you will get a certificate of recognition from the General Superintendent and the General Secretary recognizing this church as a General Council affiliated church.
Amen.
The General Council, that is the business sessions, convenes every 2 years. For instance, last year we met in Orlando, Florida. There is no meeting in 2014. In 2015, the General Council will convene again in Orlando, Florida. Well, why did you go to Orlando twice in a row? Well, last year, the General Council was to convene in Salt Lake City, Utah. That is the home of the Mormons. I have no negative statement today about that. The Housing Bureau abruptly canceled all contracts and left the General Council without a place to convene. And then the Convention Bureau in Orlando said, we'll make room. Now, when we convene in August next year, should this church want to send a member of the church to vote in all the proceedings that go on at what is called the General Council, you would now be privileged to select a member and send them, and they can participate in all the business that is voted on at the General Council, August 2015.
Amen.
I hope that is somewhat painless. That is the process. And it has been a delight to work with this pastor. Susie, who works with me, has walked the pastor through that process. And the paperwork will go tomorrow to Springfield, Missouri. And in a matter of a few days, you should have the certificate.
Amen.
Congratulations. God bless you.
We thank Reverend and Mrs. Kelly for, they are always privileged to have them in our midst. They are just awesome. They are just awesome. Let's just give them a